And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host, Sara DiVello, and I am delighted to host the incredible Chandler Baker here to tell us all about her brand new, red hot new thriller, the GMA Book Pick for August. Just announced it's going to be a movie starring Kristen Wiig here in person to give us the behind the scenes scoop. Chandler, welcome to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about the husbands.
Thank you. I feel like that was quite the introduction. I feel very cool right now. The Husbands is a novel that asks the question, to what lengths would a woman go for a little more help from her husband? It's about Nora Spangler, who is an overworked mom and lawyer, and she goes house hunting in a nice suburban neighborhood with her husband, Hayden. And there they meet a group of very high-powered women with enviably supportive husbands. And as she gets to know the women, she agrees to help out with one of the community's residents' wrongful death cases. And through that, she gets to know the women and sees like the air is different in Dynasty Ranch, this neighborhood. The women are not hanging on by a thread. They're not overwhelmed. And as the case unravels, she uncovers a plot that might explain the secret to having it all, one that could be worth killing for.
Ooh, the secret to having it all. I'm here for it, Chandler. We all are. And I want to get into every dirty, delicious detail. But first, I just want to welcome everyone who's joining us tonight on Facebook, on YouTube, in Mystery and Thriller Mavens, Murder by the Book, my channels. We're so happy you're here. And I am so excited to give you this chance to chat with Chandler and ask her all about her brand new book. So if you've been here before, you know how this works. And if you're new, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so happy to have you. Here's how it works. Every Monday night for Mystery Mondays, because Mondays can be murder, we're going to make Mondays a little less painful. And I'm going to give you featured authors, which I have handpicked for you to ask them anything. This is your time, fam. This is your time to chat with our featured author. Ask her anything about her writing process, her book, the behind the scenes secrets that we love so much. Get those questions going in the comments and I will get them right over to Chandler. They're already coming in. Christina Powers, Bookstagrammer extraordinaire, saying hello. Anissa Joy Armstrong welcoming us, saying hello, Sara and Chandler, top community members. They're great to have you. Anissa saying congratulations on GMA. Chandler, that's huge.
Thank you.
Leslie saying hello from Canada. Leslie, top community member as well. Great to have you here. Christina is saying this book is amazing. Christina, tell us what you love most about it in the comments. Now, Sally Hepworth, New York Times bestselling author of, it was just on the show a couple weeks ago, and she has deemed you the queen of the feminist thriller, which is high praise indeed. I absolutely loved that blurb and many others. So, Christina, tell us about that. What, as you address, women trying to have it all, and all of your blurbs, all of your reviews are talking about that struggle that we're all facing. What was the inspiration behind writing this book?
Yeah, I really got the initial seeds planted for the book, I think, as I was talking to people about my last book, Whisper Network. So I would go around and talk to a bunch of these professional women's organizations about my book. And a lot of what women would ask during the course of the conversations was, how do we improve corporate culture for women? And many of their answers centered around the idea that, well, corporate culture won't really improve for women until there's more women at the top of the corporate ladder, which sounds all great and good. But a lot of women sort of in the same breath were saying, it's not always necessarily that I am not being offered or I don't feel like I could be promoted at work. It's also that I am opting out in some ways because I don't feel like I can take on more responsibility at work because I'm so overloaded with my responsibilities at home. And I feel like I'm sort of failing on all fronts. And that struck such a nerve with me because there was a time after the birth of my daughter, my first child, where I really considered asking for a decrease in my pay because I just wanted to do anything I could to sort of reduce the guilt that I felt feeling like I was failing a little bit at home and at work. And I thought that was the answer. So I started thinking about that, and I started just thinking about like, what's it going to take to fix this? How do we do this? And when I went to write my next book after second child, and sort of on the barrel of domestic responsibility, and the idea for this Virginia Squad suffered popped into my head has made me laugh a little.
Okay, fascinating. Thank you for the behind the scenes there. Now, Chandler, you're frozen a little bit. Oh, you're back. Okay, perfect. Wait, are you
okay? Am I back?
Okay, you're frozen a little bit, but that's totally okay. This is life in the time of the pandemic, and we know you're going to be back soon. Okay, perfect. You're coming through. And this is something that I think resonates with every woman. This resonates with every woman. Every single mom friend that I have wrestles with this, struggles with this, desperately trying to have it all, and constantly feeling guilty because she's not able to give everything at work. And when she's at work, she feels guilty for not being at home. And when she's at home, she feels guilty for not being at work. And this is the heart of our struggle as women, is trying to do it all and do it all at 100%. So I know this is resonating with so many of us. Out there. And I love that you have taken this on. Crime Reads declared this a delightful and furious take on the Stepford wives. Christina saying that this book had these sharp, clever statements. Tell us a little bit about the writing behind these sharp, clever statements. Okay, I think you might be frozen.
Yeah.
Okay, you're back. Okay, great.
Okay, am I still frozen?
Yes, you're still frozen. That's okay. You know what?
Hopefully, but it's not happening. You know what?
Okay. Oh, okay, she's going to come back. That's totally okay. She's going to come back. This is life in the time of the pandemic. I'm going to share some of her amazing reviews. So if you haven't heard, Entertainment Weekly told us that that the book is becoming a movie with Kristen Wiig. Who else loves Kristen Wiig? Me. Bridesmaids, right? I'm ready to party. Kristen Wiig is always ready to party, and I'm ready to party with this movie starring Kristen Wiig. She's back. Yay.
I'm back. Okay. Like, you're frozen. I'm frozen. Behind the sharp, clever statements. Yes. I think that one big thing for me is talking to other women in my so I talk to friends and colleagues, and they and I'm always taking these notes. I ask women throughout this. They did that, what do they hope their spouses did that they don't already do without being asked. So I do a lot of that, which I think lends a sort of specificity to what I'm trying to write.
Awesome. Okay, you're breaking up a little bit, but that's totally okay. I totally heard you that you talk to a lot of women, asking them for that behind the scenes struggle, what that's like for them. And I think that's clearly coming through. This resonates. I mean, anyone else? Sex and the City is about to do a reboot. Anyone else remember when Miranda? Just going back to what you said, Chandler. You're a lawyer, and you considered asking for a pay cut because you felt you couldn't contribute at that level. And I remember any other Sex and the City fans in the audience. Miranda was struggling to put her baby to bed and put the brief to bed. And she, bravely went into her law firm. She's like, I can only work 80 hours a week going forward, and this crazy thing that we're expected to do it all. So you decided to flip the Stepford wives on their head and do the Stepford husbands. Where'd you get that material from?
Gosh, it was really one of those lightning bolt sort of points of inspiration that just came to me. And I really think it's because it had been marinating in my personal life through my conversations with Reader about Whisper Network. And then I got the idea for trying to flip Stepford Wives It was not actually a book I had read. It was a movie I had seen. So I did go back and read and watch it as sort of a little bit of research inspiration.
I love that. I love that. And the praise just keeps coming. So your last book, The Whisper Network, was a Reese Witherspoon book club pick. This one is a GMA book club pick. Is the pressure crushing, or is it motivating? Are you like, oh my God, how will I do this again? Or are you like, I got this? Give us the skinny behind.
After Whisper Network, I definitely felt the pressure. I wrote an entire that we completely scrapping because it just wasn't right follow-up to Whisper Network. So, that was really started writing. I was going to just scrap a whole thing, income for me. So that was frightening. But mostly I do find it very motivating and suitable for class and more readers to talk to.
You know what, Chandler, you're breaking up a tiny bit. Why don't you try turning your video off and let's see if just the audio works. If you cut your camera down at the bottom, if you stop cam, let's see if that helps a little bit. Let's see how that works. Welcome, Marsha Croyle, Dr. Marsha Croyle. Great to have you here. Leslie's asking if there's a phone or audio issue. Leslie, we're having a technical issue here. I think, sometimes this happens during the pandemic when the Wi-Fi is overloaded. So I think Chandler's just having a little bit of connectivity issue, but we're going to take care of it, see if we can cut the video and see if that helps a little bit. Christina is saying, I appreciate how Chandler writes dialogue and the crispness of her words. The realistic tone of her writing is profound and discussion worthy. Wow, amazing praise there. All right, Chandler's going to hop off and come right back in. Amazing praise there. And Christina, I love that you're pointing out her prose, that you're telling us, that you're appreciating this so deeply, because obviously as a writer and as a reader, I love crispness of words, of prose, of dialogue, and dialogue can go so wrong. So thank you for appreciating that. And when it's done well, it's done. And when it's done right, it's so powerful. When it's done wrong, it's a disaster. So I love that you are appreciating that, Christina. So thrilling news that the book has been picked up as a movie. And Chandler's back. Yay. Chandler, Christina's just praising how you write dialogue and the crispness of your words. So how do you write dialogue to make it so crisp and so realistic?
Such a question and not an easy one to answer. It's really probably more a process of revision than anything else. I definitely write a quick, messy draft sometimes, and then the next day we'll go over it and start fine-tuning that dialogue and just making sure that it sounds really natural to my ear.
Oh, I love that. Christina's saying she highly recommends the audiobook. So give us the scoop on the audiobook.
That's what I keep hearing from people, which is so lovely that they've really liked Allison Ryan's narration. I heard Allison Ryan narrate Fleischman is in Trouble, and I had just written down her name when I listened to that audiobook, and I thought, well, if I ever have another book to do, I would love if I could have her as a narrator. And so I was able to put her name out there, and my team reached out to her, and she said yes. So,
oh my gosh. So you actually envisioned, now when you were writing, did you hear Allison's voice in your head? Were you writing to that, or this occurred to you afterward?
It occurred to me after it was finished.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that. That you had kept that in mind. That's really cool that she narrated the book that you loved. Chandler, book list raves that Baker uses Nora's relatable sense of being overwhelmed to stoke suspense in this dark exploration of modern family dynamics, a prime choice for book groups. So tell us, how does one pull off? Because I'm always curious, how do authors keep readers reading? How do you keep us up till 3 a.m. begging just one more chapter, just one more page. How did you use this to keep that suspense going?
I always like to keep a steady stream sort of small questions that are intriguing, that need to be answered, that you can plant early and answer throughout the book, in addition to sort of like the big overarching plot questions, which obviously everyone wants to know at the end, but I think it's kind of finding that balance between the smaller questions and the larger ones, and making sure that when you're ending a chapter, you're ending it sort of on a punchline or something, that you really want to know the answer to.
Oh, that's so cool. So at the end of each chapter, are you thinking to yourself, okay, let me plant some questions?
Absolutely. And sometimes they're questions that I don't know the answer to because I just want that punchy chapter ending. And so I'll sort of write something that I think would be like such a cool chapter ending and would make me want to read on. And then of course, future me has to actually figure out a way to answer that.
Future you, exactly. Current you making future you's job really hard. I love that. Christina would like to know, do you read a lot? And how does that influence your writing? Great question, Christina.
Yes, I read a ton. When I was a quote unquote younger writer, I used to think that I couldn't read while I was actually drafting because I was worried it would like interfere with my voice or something like that. And over the years, I've come to realize that I can't write unless I'm reading a lot. In fact, I start every writing session with picking up some of my favorite books that I've loved recently that feel like they would inspire me. So I always read a few pages just to begin my writing day. But gosh, I'm constantly just awed by writers and looking at them for how they handle point of view or what they did to keep turning the pages or what I loved about a plot device. Usually my writer friends and I are always sharing book recommendations, and we spend some time each week kind of going through them and what we thought worked or didn't work, so that we can hopefully improve our own craft.
Very cool. So I love that you start your process by reading other writers' words, filling your ears and your brain with that. Who are some of your favorite writers to read to fill your ears and your brain?
Gosh, I mean, I always really love turning to Leon Moriarty. I think she is somebody that does a great job planning those questions, has really fascinating backstories for her characters. I really always admire that. Recently, I've really loved Kevin Wilson. I love both Family Fang and Nothing to See Here. I just think that he brings such a warmth that I'm sometimes jealous of to these kind of quirky plots that I really like. I've really liked, I always get her name wrong, but it's the author of The Plot. I know in my head it's Jean Corlitz.
Yes.
Hump, I think, is in the middle.
Yes, Jean Hamp Corlitz. She came on the show in December. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, Jean wrote The Undoing, which became that hit show on HBO with Hugh Grant, Nicole Kidman, and all the fabulous outfits. My God, can I please just have Nicole Kidman's wardrobe? But I loved that book and that show, and The Plot is her newest, just out in May. That is so cool to know that that's who you like to read. Mm-hmm. Chandler Kirkus Reviews, who I believe the New York Times called reliably curmudgeonly and notoriously cranky, so we know their praise don't come cheap, called your book a delightfully cutting romp, a perpetually timely page turner. Extremely high praise from Kirkus there. And I love what they honed in on about this cutting romp, because I think that when you can use that ability to be cutting, you can really hold up a mirror to us culturally and societally and say, hello, this is a problem. Women are trying to do it all, and it's not easy and it's not working for us. How did you use this cutting nature so efficiently? Tell us about that.
Oh gosh, probably just a sense of righteous indignation, which in my experience is the best indignation to feel. I mean, to some extent, like I have a wonderful, supportive, loving husband, but of course, I see a lot of these sort of systemic inequities. We certainly feel the growing pains in our own life, trying to negotiate the division of domestic labor in our home. It can be incredibly frustrating. Of course, in the back of my head, there's the idea that women are, labeled as nags very quickly, and I hate hearing myself nag. So I think it's truly a matter of sort of reaching for some of my own emotional truth and that of my friends.
Oh, I love that. And I totally relate, because that's something that I will share. My husband often says to me, don't nag me. And I say, the thing is I'm not innately a nag. I'm fun, and of course, when you have to declare yourself as fun, you become a little less fun, right?
Sure. Yeah.
I'm like, listen, buddy, I am fun, but you make me a nag because I'm having to play this role of nag because you're not pulling your share of the load. If you were, I wouldn't have to nag you, right? And it's so interesting how within the context of shared domesticity, we take on these roles and are forced to take on these roles and become people that we're not in order to get the job done. I absolutely love that. Margaret is saying cutting romp brings to mind Jane Austen. I love that. And I totally agree. There is something lighthearted and fun about, and also incisive and culturally sharp about both of these commentaries on our respective societies. High praise there.
Yes, I love it. Haven't heard that one before, but that's very fun. And thank you.
I love that. Okay, we have 10 minutes left. So any questions any more questions for Chandler, no matter where you're watching from, on YouTube, on Facebook, on any of the channels, on any of the pages, get them going. And we will get them right over to her. Chandler, one thing, another review of yours that I absolutely loved was from Publishers Weekly, saying that you paint such a convincing picture of Nora's stretched to the breaking point existence. Stylist UK raving the husband's is a howl of feminist rage, but one that is also pure fun. Congratulations. Do you have a favorite review that you've received? Were you like, yes, you get me, I feel seen?
Oh gosh. That's a good question. I mean, I really love, it's not necessarily a review, but I really love the Sally Hepworth, Queen of the Feminist Thriller. She is an author who I love. I adored The Good Sister this year, which was really fresh on my mind, even when she gave that great quote. And to be in the category of feminist thriller feels very right for me and what I'm going for. So I love that.
Yes, I love that. Okay, so I'm putting it in the comments so everyone can enjoy it. Sally Hubbard, who was just on the show a few weeks ago, says, Chandler Baker, Queen of the Feminist Thriller, has delivered once again. The Husbands is a poignant exploration of what it would take for women to have it all. And it's as sobering as you might imagine. My head is still spinning. I can already hear the book club discussions. I love Sally Hepworth. She's so freaking smart and she's so insightful. And I love all that she does on Instagram, how raw and real and freaking cool she is. Everyone should follow her. She's fabulous. But one thing that's really stuck out to me, because she talks a lot about these issues of domesticity, shared chores, how you negotiate. She shared recently on her Instagram stories that when she's ticked off at her husband, she parks the car wrong, according to him. So he likes the car backed into the garage so that when you pull out, you can just go forward. So when she's mad, she pulls it in face forward. So you have to back out, which is harder. And then she was like, this is a passive aggressive thing that I do. And then she asked everyone what their passive aggressive things were. And, in terms of what they did when they're mad at their husbands or partners or wives or whatever. And people were sharing like, oh, I don't make him his favorite dinner. And she finally just said, this is insane. This is the patriarchy. And I'm going to reject this. Like, not making him his favorite dinner is not a punishment suitable for the crime. Like, you need to step it up. And it was such a fascinating, intimate glimpse into people's lives. And Sally talks a lot about this. So I agree. Like, she's fantastic. And this praise of you is so cool. And when I read that, I was really excited. Sharon is saying she's heard so much about your book. It sounds absolutely great. Sharon, top community member there. Sharon, you are right. And Chandler, so Chandler's book was just picked this morning for GMA, the book of the month. And it's about to become a movie with Kristen Wiig. She's absolutely fantastic. And I am putting the link to her book in the comments right now so that everyone can grab their copy of it. It's available for pre-order. It comes out tomorrow. So grab your copy of this fabulous book right here. Oh my goodness, Sally Hepworth is here. And she said she loved this book so much. Chandler, should we risk bringing you back on video? Because I feel like your Wi-Fi is stable now. Sally Hepworth, welcome to the conversation.
Oh, Sally, she must have heard her ears like ringing as we're talking about her.
Sally, we're singing your praises. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
I'm laughing about her passive aggressive.
We're laughing about your passive aggressive, Sally, because we're
and lamenting all the other women's passive aggressive that is like doing the dishes while sighing.
Yeah, exactly. We're lamenting those women who said, I'm not making him his favorite dinner. Oh,
yes.
Big freaking boo-hoo. Like that poor guy. Can I please be him?
Yes, world's tiniest violin.
The world's tiniest violin. Oh my God. Sally Hepworth saying she is a huge fan of yours, Chandler's. My two favorite blondes. Christina saying, OMG, Sally Hepworth is in the house. Anissa saying Sally Hepworth is the bomb. Yes.
Can we turn this into a Sally Hepworth fan club? Like, is that cool? Like, that can be me.
Sally saying, oh, you guys, when Sally was on the show, she gave us a really good American accent.
Oh.
And who knew that Sally Hepworth, so she was sharing that in Australia, she watches a lot of American TV. And so she did this really fantastic, where she's like, so you guys, it's like, I'm here to tell you about my book. And it was this fantastic gossip girl moment. And then I tried to reciprocate with an Aussie accent. I used to live in Australia. I should be able to do it. And it was terrible, you guys. It was so embarrassing.
I was going to say, like, if you were about to ask me to do an Aussie accent, I will run away and cry.
Chandler, that is where I was going, but I'll back it up now.
I don't know.
Chandler saying no, Sally saying no, back to Chandler now. Sally, it's so wonderful to have you here. Anissa saying, so 1-star reviews are hilarious too. They are. Chandler, do you read your 1-star? And Sally shares her 1-star reviews and they are absolutely hilarious. Chandler, do you read your 1-star reviews and how do you handle them?
I do. I am like the crazy person that reads all my reviews. Basically, I think I have pretty thick skin and like, I don't know, maybe I don't have thick skin, but I bounce back from things very quickly. So I just kind of read it and like, if it resonates, then I'm interested. And if it doesn't, then I'm not. But man, for the husbands, I've read, a couple funny ones. I don't know if they were 1-star, but I read on one review that I think my book got published because I was best friends with Eve Rodsky, who wrote Fair Play. And I love Fair Play. I love Eve Rodsky. Literally don't know her at all. She doesn't even follow me like on Instagram. So I wish that were true.
Let's be honest. Who could resist reading their own reviews? Like some authors, who shall remain nameless, come on here and say, oh, I don't read my reviews. That is a stronger soul. Like that person has more self-restraint than me because I have zero. Like if there's a bag of cookies, I'm going to eat them. And if there's a review, like I'm going to read it. Like that is a stronger person than I can. Yeah. So do you just laugh them off, Chandler? Are you like, poor jerk, you probably live in your mom's basement? Or are you like, like how does it hit? How does it land?
I mean, neither. If I don't agree with them at all, and I just think that they're crazy, like I've read ones that say, that the point of the book is to say that feminism is bad. I'm like, well, that would be a really strange takeaway. And I think I'm pretty confident that that's not what I said in the book. So that doesn't hurt. If it's something that feels like sort of a valid criticism, then I don't know, then I make note of it and I'm like, oh, maybe next time I can work on that in my writing. And that's a valid read. I do believe that when a book is published, it belongs to its readers, and my interpretation is not necessarily more valid than anyone else's interpretation. And I try to keep that in mind. So yeah, I more just like enjoy when I see that the book gets to the people that should be reading it. Like when there are people that really relate to it, that means so much to me. And if I have to risk seeing some bad reviews in order to get the satisfaction of seeing that it's found people that are like living this stage of their life or have lived in it, then I can take that.
I love that. Chandler, what was the hardest scene to write in this book and why?
The hardest scene. Well, I'm going to try not to give away any spoilers, but I mean, there's a big secret at the heart of Nora and Hayden's marriage. And it sort of is a worst parenting fear of mine. So trying to write that and write what happened, knowing that it's one of my biggest fears was difficult to like relive, to try to feel like I was getting right.
Ah, okay, cool. And what is your favorite scene in this book and why?
My favorite scene is the last chapter, and specifically the last line of the book. I knew what the last line was going to be from, the first word of the book, and I was just writing towards that the whole time. So I was so excited to get to write it, and I changed a little bit of like what happened around it, but that last line was the same the entire time.
Wow. And how did that line come to you? Was it did it come in a flash of brilliance and inspiration? Like walk us through that moment and how you came upon that and why, how did it come to you?
Yeah. Without giving too much away.
Yes. Like, was it in a dream or were you pounding away at the keyboard in hour 8? Were you just Hemingway, just drinking the manuscript away? Like, how did this work?
Yeah, I was not drinking the manuscript away. I was definitely like breastfeeding and or pregnant at the time. So we were short on the booze for this one. So how did it come to me? I just think I knew that if I was going to do this idea, that I'll say like I didn't want the takeaway to be that the men were the victims of the story. And so I knew that I had to end in a certain place for me to feel good about what the book ultimately said.
I love that. What do you want people to walk away having felt, having learned, having experienced, besides knowing the nitty gritty of how hard it is to be a woman pulled in these multiple directions at once?
Mm-hmm. Gosh, I mean, I do want people to think about kind of how our society is set up right now. I think our society is still predicated on the idea that there will be one stay-at-home parent and one parent that goes out and makes an income. And the reality for most people is that most couples are dual income couples. And at the same time, we've got technology that leads employers to expect us to be available at all times. And that's bound to create issues at home because both parents or both spouses are dealing with that and trying to weigh it. So I hope this gives people the vocabulary and like feels like venting to a friend.
I love that because it's so true. This technology of, having your phone hooked up to your work email is supposed to make your life easier. But in reality, it actually makes it so there's no end to your workday. And especially with all of us stuck at home during a pandemic, because you're working, and as someone who works from home all the time, it's something I struggle with too. The workday never ends because you're still just here. And then it's so easy to hear that email ping and be like, oh, I'll just answer it quickly and then I'll be done. But then you get sucked in. And so, and it's really hard because there is no separation anymore.
For sure. It's just gotten blurrier and blurrier. And I feel like that has increased my guilt more and more because I feel like I'm distracted parent, but also I feel like I have to be available. So it, kind of where's that line? But I know that what informs my books and what I enjoy the most is that I love having long talks with my girlfriends. And I think it is so nice when you're going through something that's tough to be able to talk to a friend and have them say like, I'm experiencing that exact same thing too. My child also vomited on my lap or whatever it is. But obviously, you know, as we get busier, it's hard to schedule those lunches. Or a lot of times when I want to talk to my friends, they're doing bedtime and dinner with their own family. So I hope my books can just kind of give that stand-in for a chat with your girlfriend about certain stresses.
Oh, Chandler, I love that because nothing is better than long chats with girlfriends, the camaraderie of women and the sharing of women and knowing that you're not alone and to be like, me too. I mean, it's so that solidarity and that community is so soothing and so powerful and so wonderful. I mean, my girlfriends are everything to me. And I love that you said this is that conversation because I immediately, my heart's like, yes. Oh my goodness.
It is the best.
Chandler, your books are known for just keeping the pages turning, keeping the suspense burning, keeping us on the edge of our seats. What do you think is the single most important thing to that delicate balance of page 2? You don't want people to be like, I know who, you know, I know what's going to happen, but you don't want to get to page 300 and be like the butler. There was a butler. Like, how do you balance holding it back, as Brad Park saying, come with me, there's a feast, but here's a crumb, here's a snack. Because you don't want people to figure out too soon, but you don't want them to be frustrated at the end and be like, I didn't, you know, you did it too well. And now I never, you know, how do you do that?
Yeah. I mean, it really depends book to book. Like sometimes I outline a lot. For this, I really uncovered along the way. I think one secret for me is ending those chapters in ways that feel interesting to me that I don't know the answer to yet. And that can be scary because I don't know if I'll be able to find the answer, but I think that also creates an exciting book if it's keeping me guessing as the author. And then the other thing is I really think relatability and just being specific to who I think my readers are and to who I am carries just as much as any like plot twist could any day. And I think that keeps people reading as much as anything else.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So I've been doing this series for a year and a half. I think I've done 118 interviews. No one has ever said that. No one has ever said that. And it's so true because when you feel like you see yourself on the page and when you feel like, yes, this resonates. Yes, I feel this. You care so deeply about these people. You want to see them be okay. You want to see them get through this and you want to be in their world for as long as possible. And I never thought of it like that. And apparently neither did anyone else because I ask that question every time. And this is the first time I'm hearing that. I love that. Sharon is saying girlfriends are her therapy. Amen, Sharon.
Yes, absolutely.
Chandler, what is one thing that you would like to leave us with? Something you wish I'd asked, something that you just want to share. Tell us, you know, what is that thing?
Oh gosh, goodness. What is that thing? I would just like to share how lucky I feel. I mean, I just feel like people are coming out and supporting these books and to have Reese's Book Club and then GMA for Whisper Network, and then Good Morning America for this book truly is like, it makes me feel like the luckiest author in the world. I mean, to have me on here to talk about it, that's just, it feels wild to me. And when I write these books, the main thing that my editor, my agent, and I always talk about is we want to write books that people want to talk about and that are conversation starters and are water cooler books. So the fact that they're being found by book clubby type places is just really more than I can ask for.
Oh, Chandler, I love that. I love that. And as Sally Hepworth, Queen Sally said, she can already hear the book club discussions because there's so much meat in here to dissect. Christina would like to know, how do you find the balance with everything and making sure that you're taking care of yourself? Great question, Christina. Chandler, what's that look like for you? I mean, you're a lawyer, you're a mom, you're maintaining a relationship, you're writing books that are getting picked up for movies and all of these amazing celebrity book clubs. How do you take care of yourself and what does that look like?
Gosh, well, I'm barely lawyering at this point, so I have to be honest about that part. So for the last 2 years, thankfully, I haven't had to do a ton. always get the right amount of sleep, no matter what. I go to bed on time, and unless one of my kids wakes me up, which does happen, sleep is very, very important to me, and I don't skimp on it. But recently, over the past year, I really wanted to commit to having a better boundaries with my work, because I am working from home like so many people and working for myself as a writer. So I've tried to be more efficient with my time at the computer. I've been setting timers. So when that timer is on, I don't do anything else. I try not to look at the internet or do anything with my email. And that way I can be really honest with myself about how much time I'm actually working when I'm sitting at my desk, so that I'm not letting time just get away from me. And in that way, I've really tried to make my work days a little bit shorter and give myself the extra time to exercise and, get to go to things with my kid, like take them to extracurriculars when they have them, those kind of things. So just trying to have a little bit better boundaries. And it's a very slow and steady improvements. I'm not perfect at it all the time, but I'm just trying to get a little bit better each year is what I set my goal.
I love that. And I am a sleep nerd too. And I think a lot of people aren't. They're like, oh, I'll just have a cup of coffee. No, I need my sleep. So I am so glad to hear that you do as well. And thank you for preaching that and getting the word out. Well, Chandler Baker, it has been an honor and a pleasure. Wait, what was that?
Yeah. Oh, I said I think my superpower is I can from working to sleeping in 5 minutes.
Oh, wow. From working to sleeping. Oh my God. I wish I was you. I struggle with my sleep and always have. So I wish I was you. That's amazing. Yay. Well, Chandler Baker, it has been a pleasure, an honor, and a delight to host you. Congratulations again on GMA picking the husbands. Christina is saying thank you so much. Congratulations on the movie, Kristen Wiig. You are a superstar, and it has been so freaking incredible to have you. Please come back and talk to us next time. And we can't wait to have you back. Thank you so much, everybody. And we will see you next time. Christina's saying congratulations, such a pleasure. And we will see you next time right here on Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you.